Well, good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to Portsmouth Coffee Talks morning show. And every day we rise is a great day to be alive. James Slim Overton here with host Leah Drake Stitt, Thomas the Colonel Chapman, and guest host Ray Smith Jr. and Louis Bracy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope everybody is feeling grateful, thankful, and blessed today as we approach the Thanksgiving holiday, and which is the beginning of the holiday season. Before we get started, I talked to my friend Denzel Washington and asked him would he say a few words for us. So here it is.
Say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. That's how I live my life. That's why I am. One of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. Thank you.
All right, just these days and times, and as we talk about on this show, a lot of things are going on, but there are times or plenty of times when we really feel thankful, and especially when you have you're born in the month of thankfulness. And
Amen.
we had one of our members that was born in the month of thankfulness, and which is Leah Drake Stiff, had a
Yes.
birthday. When was the birthday? Was it Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday. Had a birthday over the weekend, and I had the chance to go up and spend. Are you still there?
No. I flew back yesterday. So I'm back home,
So,
back in the area.
so since it was your birthday, let's start with you as far as being thankful, and we'll talk about how we thankful for things, and any other subjects can come up as well. You know, it can even be thankfulness in politics. We could be thankful we're Democrats or whatever you want to bring up. But Leah, if you will, if you want to express some of your gratefulness or thankfulness and how blessed you are.
I have been truly blessed, and it was more evident this past weekend than ever before. I'm always constantly reminded how blessed I am, but this weekend it was purely evident in the amount of people who sent their wishful thoughts and kind thoughts and my daughter and my son-in-law, they just made the weekend a perfect weekend for me. Starting Friday night well, first of all, they flew me to Maryland so I wouldn't have to drive and
Or catch the train.
or take the train. And starting Friday with a wonderful Jamaican dinner, and Saturday with a spa day and brunch, and from brunch to her neighbor, Kobe, who wanted to cook dinner for me, and he cooked an amazing meal, and he had over people from Greece and Brazil, and it was just amazing international evening for me. And I like the international piece, and as well as receiving words of kindness from my friends in Australia and Africa and England and Italy. So it was just an amazing weekend. And what makes me realize how grateful I am is that the people from Australia who sent their kind wishes, and Wayne Too Good and Kim Noack and
Oh,
Jeff.
the ones that used to come on and watch the show.
Yeah, they come on. Wayne Too Good would come on and watch us on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. But the amazing thing is that We met on a Mediterranean cruise, and I know it must have been 8 to 10 years ago. But we have not lost our connections. Although we don't see each other, thankful to Facebook, we see each other daily, and we greet each other daily, and we watch our families grow. And it has just been an amazing relationship with Kim and Jeff and Wayne Too Good, and all of my friends from all over the world. Really, it has just been an amazing journey, and just thankful and blessed. I mean, truly blessed for all of the people who've entered into my life, even those who didn't come in a good way and didn't leave in a good way. I'm thankful for them too, because they have helped me to grow. We may not be in each other's presence still, but they helped me to grow and become the person I am. So I am eternally grateful this morning.
What
Beyond
part of Maryland were you partying in?
I was in Millersville, just
Oh, I know where you went to.
yeah, right by the BWI airport. So it was a great weekend.
Yeah, I know the restaurant that you went to. That's why when you say they were talking about the food, you had some good eating.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
I live in Hanover, 25 minutes from that place.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it
And
was
you know, as we go every day, and nationally, we celebrate Thanksgiving, you know, nationally. But many of us are thankful every morning we wake up. You know, I'm certainly thankful for family, and one of my family members that I've known since we were little kids, the Colonel, is on here, and I'm thankful for him, knowing him all those years we knew each other. I think when we got together, we were in the first grade or something like that. You know, when this family came down, and we stayed together for a while. And I'm thankful for his service that he's given to the country.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
certainly, and for him being a part of this program. Colonel, how you feel?
Oh, every day's a good day. Every day's a good day.
Yeah, and we're gonna get together with family this Thursday and watch the Cowboys play this other guy's team up here, Ray's Commanders. So that should be an interesting day for us. And like I want to say, Ray, you know, I've known him since the Cub Scouts, and we high school classmates. So Ray, what are you thankful for today?
Well, thankful, just as you said, just to be alive and to be healthy, and to know, where your health and strength comes from. It doesn't all come from you, but it comes from God, and that's the motivator, the driving force that's always inspired and pushed and motivated me to do all I do, and also to keep my head on straight and keep me from totally going off at times when I could have and I should have, but that spirit in me, that Holy Spirit in me, just sustained and kept, and that's what I attribute my entire life to, especially my adult life, when I really learned the importance of people, and the importance of serving, and the importance of just treating others as you would have them to treat you. That is the number one driver in my life, because I can attribute it to nothing but God, and it's not about me or any of my education or my experience in politics or anything. It's just been about Him, and He just continues to be in my life, and He's keeps my family together through that also. I'm not perfect. Everything's not perfect, but we aren't promised that, because we are imperfect beings, and so we can't be. I don't care how much and how long we try. While we're in these earthly natural bodies, we're gonna be have a lot of imperfections, but the good thing is knowing that you are that way and in that state. There's a lot of people don't even realize what state or frame of mind they're in. It may be because of dementia or other diseases, or And maybe because they just have never really, like Michael Jackson said, look at that man or woman in the mirror.
Yeah, and we also can be thankful for neighborhoods, and as I think about
Yeah,
my neighborhood, Truxton, it
yeah,
was certainly a village
right.
where everybody looked out for everybody. And one of those people that were in the neighborhood, and uh, before we even got to Northam and became classmates, we were neighbors, and that would be Lewis Bracy, who is here with us this morning. And Lewis, and I know how you can be long-winded, but briefly, tell us all what you're thankful for.
Well, I'm gonna be short. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I have to piggyback on the previous statements from both the guests. Is that I'm grateful for my health. That's the thing. I used to do a local show called "Your Health Is Your Wealth," and I tell people all the time, if you were to give me a $5, $10, $15 million for 1 year of extra life, I would take that 1 year before I take the money, as long as I'm in good health and good spirit. So I want to piggyback on what Ray said. Once if you got good health, you have your wealth. Because if you're healthy, you can do anything else. And I also like to piggyback on the importance of travel. When the host mentioned about cruising and relationships that you find on cruises, I can piggyback on what she said. I have met some of the greatest people from different parts of this planet by going on cruises and sitting there and learning and talking to people on all various aspects of everything. You learn about their country more than you would in the school books. So I want to say I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the family that I was raised in. I'm grateful for the school that I went to, because the school would open my mind to the possibilities of everything.
And
Amen.
well,
That's great.
thank you for your service as well, Lewis. And I just thankful for life. I want to thank for my birth parents for bringing me into this world, and I want to thank for adoption for my parents. Just accepting me in as theirs, and I never felt any different, and didn't feel any different from them. And then my wife and Benay. And my ex-wife, I had to mention her, Mary, because we had a daughter together, which is Jamie, and now we have a granddaughter, Zuri. And my ex-wife, rest in peace. And I want to thank Dr. Charles Drew for for his work in medicine with blood plasma, because I needed a lot of blood when it came down to I needed that new heart. So we have to thank those pioneers that came before us that were a part of our race, and as people talk about, we learn how much significance we had in shaping this country in all facets, medicine, engineering, and everything. So got to be thankful for that. But I want to go back to the Colonel. You know, especially, you spent a lot of your years in the military, and even before that. And I know that military was something that really shaped you into the man you are today. Even the way you approach the military, going in and say, well, I want more, coming out, going to college, getting that degree, then going back in and starting with, as an officer, and then taking it all the way up to the colonel spot. So tell us a little bit about that experience, and as far as how thankful you are for that.
Well, I think it was one of the wisest decisions I've ever made. Like you said, yes, I went as enlisted as a private E1, did my time, went to Hawaii. I was a dental assistant, got out, went back to Norfolk State, got my registered nurse degree, and went back to working at Norfolk State. At Maryview, where I was the first Black registered nurse at Maryview Hospital. Then at the same time, working full time, I went to Hampton, got my degree, my baccalaureate, and then went back in the Army as an officer. Spent another 30 years, and I made it to 06. And to give a plug there, you know, when I made 06 or colonel, I was the 7th African American male to ever make colonel in the Army Nurse Corps, and that at 112 years old. You know, it'd been around 112, and it's kind of hard to say that. It's bad to say that it took 112 years for me for the 7th one to make 06. But I'd like to give a shout out in thinking that I'm thankful for that I lived in a time where, during a time where Rosalind Carter rose to prominence with her husband, and she lived a life well lived. And then when I bring it back in the 96 years old, in the context of my military career, I look at having, you know, and I look at this debate today of swearing an oath to the Constitution. And as I see a battle actually not a battle, but a war that is coming on America, where we have the rise of the MAGA influencers across this nation, and the MAGA and the Republican Party, Trumpism, racism, xenophobia, and sexism, all those things rolled up to try to destroy our democracy. We are at war. And I'm glad that I'm still here to speak out against those folks, especially against the Trump and the Trumpisms, that I look forward to the day that I will be able to exercise my vote in November coming up in 24, because that's the only power that America has, because that may be the last time you get a chance to vote. I look at the laws that are being passed across this country, especially the one that just passed going to the governor's seat in Texas, where the National Guard and the law enforcement can line up anybody in a person of color, put you in a detention camp until they find out if you're here illegally. So you may be there for years, and that will go across this country. So you look at what that effect is when they line everybody of color and put them back. And you look back, this is going back to the World War II internment camps of the Japanese. Just think if they do it on a national level. After we get through this show, you hear a knock on the door, they're banging down the door and locking all us up until they can decide to deport us somewhere. And so that is coming to America. And so I'm happy that, yes, I will be, hopefully I'll be around to cast my vote.
Yeah.
That I can continue to fight.
And that can't be said enough, Colonel. And that takes me back to the 60s as far as being thankful for the people that paved the way for us to get to this point. So we can't forget that. And we have to remind people, the ones, especially the ones that say, I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to do this because it's going to be the same. You know, remind of all those people that came before us, that are ancestors now. A few might be still living, that sacrifice everything just for us to get a vote. And if you think about it in the history of the country, that wasn't a long time ago, but we couldn't vote. And I heard something the other day about as late as 1974, a woman couldn't get a credit card in her own name.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
She had to go through her husband to get a credit card or a bank account. You know, that's sort of tells a little bit about the country. And if people know about how this country really can be or has been, you know, and the power they will have in the vote, you know, hopefully they'll be more conscious of that. You know, now anybody else want to chime in on being thankful for our ancestors and the people that really sacrificed for us to be where we are today, and how quickly that can be turned around?
James, I'd like to ask the Colonel a question.
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought up the thing about the insane governor from Texas, and I just wondered how many people heard the dribble that came out of his mouth. When I heard it, I basically almost lost it. I could not believe what I was hearing. And what I want to ask the panel, because I like to get insight from people on how to deal with certain issues, because I tend to go from 1 to 10 and there's nothing in between. How do y'all deal with people who say what you say, James, about they're not going to vote after you hear the lunacy coming from that governor in Texas? How do y'all deal with people locally when you hear that? Because I use a lot of French when I hear it. What do y'all do?
Use a lot of French.
Grayson, unfortunately, many of the people probably have not even heard what the colonel has shared with us this morning, because they don't look at the news. They only rely on TikTok, X, and Facebook. That's their social media. And if it's not on there, they don't believe it to be true. And that is the sad thing about it, is the unawareness of so many people in our communities who just don't take the time to find out what's happening in the world. I bet you can walk out here today and talk to 10 people, you may have one who can share with you the information that the colonel just shared with us this morning on our show. And it's sad. It's sad.
But how do you deal with them? How do you when you meet, let's say you have a relative, a young person, or even an old person, and they say, what I've heard, it don't make no difference. They're gonna do what they want to do anyway. And then what the thing was, some of these pseudo intellectuals are going around telling these young people all about the Clinton Biden crime bill. That's why we shouldn't vote. And things of that nature, things like that. They have all these tricks that's going around. And then, the Russian, I think the colonel, if you had any kind of a connection to the military community in the intelligence field, you find that Vladimir Putin, and it was in the report, the Mueller report, how much it was attacking the black community to convince blacks not to vote. And I have ran into people who believe the things that were said on the internet, and like you say, TikTok and TikTok and whatever that other thing is. But
TikTok,
you have a relative that come to you and they tell you they're not voting for various reasons. How do y'all deal with them?
Sometimes you actually want to walk away from them, but sometimes you try your best to guide them towards, the right information, or just tell them, just sit down and take a look at this, don't follow that. You find out what are they watching, or where they're getting. I guess the first thing is to find out where you're getting your information from.
Exactly.
Who's giving you your information? And that could, a lot of times, if they'll honestly tell you where they're getting the information, well, a lot of times they can't tell you. They can't tell you. They can't back up what they're saying. So that's an opportunity to try to guide them towards some substantial, something that has some substance, something that has some truth to it. As far as it could be in a book, it could be in a podcast, it could be on coffee talk, it could be on the right news, not those news where you have celebrities, just trying to be shown, but the people that give the real news, on both sides of the issue. So, I mean, that's all you can really do, but it's kind of frustrating when you get those. But I always try to take those people back to, like I said, the ancestors, the people before them, some of their grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents that were out there doing things, or what happened to them. And hopefully it'll get to them in the back of their minds. Subconsciously, they'll think about it, or consciously, they'll think about it.
And once again, James, it goes back to what we've been saying forever here on this show. It goes back to education.
Education is big. Yeah.
And we can't do it 2 months before an election. That education of the public has to start now in preparation for the 2024 election. Information has to get out there, not only by those who are running, but by those in the community who people will listen to, who will talk and to share information with the various community groups, community leagues, youth groups, and share with them the importance of voting, share with them what's taking place, give them that information that they're not getting through not watching the news and getting it from social media, but it's incumbent upon each of us to teach as many of them as we can, to enlighten them as to what's taking place here in America and in voting and in our state, and let them know, listen, these are the reasons why we go out and vote, and these are the things that you need to look at, and these are the things you need to consider. You know, I recently had to just give some young people some websites to go to and check some things out because they truly were not aware of what was taking place. No sense of what's happening here in the USA, yet more anything that's happening around the world. There's no concept. They're so busy listening to music and doing making whatever TikTok things they're making and doing other things that they're not taking time to discuss or to find out what's happening in the world. So we have to start with education, and it starts now. Can't wait till 2024 to begin.
And you know the Leah, I agree. The basics of it all is the spirit. You know, when you talk to some folks, you can feel their spirits, and you can tell whether or not you may be wasting your time. You do what you can do. You know, if they come to you and based on their sincerity, you know, some could just be trying to pick at you, or they could be just trying to stir you up. So you have to really, you know, try the spirit, you know, with the spirit. If they, some of them you won't reach, you know, with any kind of information, because they'll have reprobated minds, and they just don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to, you know, hear it. And it takes the, you know, God to maybe reach some of them, the Holy Spirit, and just prayer. But meanwhile, you have to confront them and face them, and just like Leah said, share, because they will a lot of times share with you or send you to internet sites. I know some folks that are close to me and are friends, and they are African Americans, they're Black, and they Trumpers.
Yes.
You know, they are sold in the Trump, you know, and so they're constantly trying to direct me to sites, you know, that they read, and they get it off the internet. And some of this stuff is deep, dark stuff. And so you have to kind of analyze some of it in your mind based on what you know and what you've learned. And you have to decide, Lewis, you know, whether or not it's even worth it. You know, don't cast our pearls to the swines, as the scripture says. When folks just won't listen, and regardless of what you tell them or where you direct them or show them, and that's what you have to test for. You have to see if there's any hope. And you know, a lot of times, you know, family members, you'll go to extra length to try to reach them, but some folks out in the street, and you know, some of your acquaintances, you may want to, you know, just pray for them and move on, because they are hardened, and you can feel those spirits, and I know I can, and I do what I can to, you know, like Leah said, to give them information and to direct them to some places. But every one or two or three you give them, they'll try to direct you to five more.
You're right.
And you just try to, you know, establish some credibility in the information. And that's the best you can do. You have to learn how to move on.
Let me tell you why I brought it up. And in the Colonel may have caught this other article too, and the rest of you may have seen it. You know who Juan Williams is, the journalist reporter.
Yeah,
Juan Williams. He put out a report about the increasing number of Black men who are supporting Donald Trump.
Yes.
And he put out, well, his thing was, he put it out saying Blacks, period. But I jumped right on it and corrected what he really was trying to say. He was talking about the number of Black men who have increased their desire to vote for Trump. black women have stayed steadfast. I wrote a piece on that locally. I said, no, I said his information is wrong. He's talking about black men because black women have been steadfast. And in my article, I said, it's a good thing for black women because black women know BS when they hear it.
That's
and
right.
they have been steadfast with it.
That's right, Grayson.
But the article is a part of his article is correct because I have ran into these people. And I'm gonna tell you, the French started immediately. When you run into black men who claim to be intelligent, and exactly what you said, you knock down everything they say, and then they go and they've been trained so well. And I hate to say this because Trump have not been around forever. His organization has not been around forever. It's amazing to me how our men, some of our men, minds have been so polluted, and you cannot get through to them. You really cannot get through to them. And every time I see Donald Trump on stage and you see blacks or Trump, don't ask me what I want to do to him, but it's ridiculous. But that's what I was getting to is that you see, we got that group of people that's increasing. They're not decreasing. You would think with Trump's record, come on, wake up. Why is it increasing? And I'd like to get some feedback from the panel as to why do you think it's increasing in light of all that has came out about Donald Trump? I can't wrap it around my head.
I think that goes to certain people's moral compass. The way you were raised. If you come up and you're not taught those really true morals in your life coming up, you can be fooled by some certain things. You can be fooled by Donald Trump, but because you're looking past all the things he's doing and finding one little piece in there that satisfies you, and say forget all the laws he's broken and all that. He gave me a check. So that's all you see. But your moral compass is just broken or it's non-existent. And I think that's why a lot of those guys go for that. And we just have to be an example. We have to tell our truth and how we feel and how blessed we are to be thinking the way we are, and make sure people see us out there and know that this is something that can be a blessing to you. And Leah brought up education. You have to show that education is the way. And when we say education, it's not always going to school, going to class. It's educating yourself about the truth. Or making sure before you go this way, look at the other side too, and then weigh them out. And hopefully your mind will guide you in the right direction.
But James, it also goes back to look at evangelical Christians who say they profess and believe in God and they believe in what Jesus taught while he was here, but yet and still they can go along with a man who has been charged with rape, who has molested many women, who has been just a total. He goes totally against anything that's preached in the Bible that they profess to follow. They still follow him hook, line, and sinker. So it all goes back to that. People look for one thing that they find that this person is doing on so-called on their behalf, and that's what they base their opinions on. And any way that you can be a Christian and follow this man, it is just. It's just not believable. It's just not.
Don't get me started on the Christianity part. Don't even get me started on that. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, just think about back in the day in Salem when they, were dealing with witches. The thing was they dump them in the water, and if they drown, okay, they want a witch.
They want a witch.
If they survive, they were a witch, and then they burn them. So that's the way religion went. And goes so much, and you think that's archaic, but it's still that kind of thinking is today. That kind of religious thinking. And Ray can tell you, you got to know the truth about what you believe in, you know, and really study the Bible. You know, just many people interpret it like I think Lewis said when one of our shows, the Bible was written, well, interpreted by man. So, you know, it could be some flaws there, but you know, here we go back to education. You know, making sure what you believe comes from the truth.
Yeah, his personality also, you know, when you have to, I know what the Holy Spirit helps me do is discern them spirits. I'm telling you, and that's what they are. And some folks are slick and they're undercover, and I mean black folks
Yes.
when it comes to Trump and some of the things that they be. I mean, literally, I know some folks personally that have think that, you know, Biden is dead and that he's a clone, and they believe this. I mean, seriously. And I know the person's family members, they'll just shake their heads and say they're gone. And let me tell you, that gets mental when you are just closed your mind and you don't want to believe anything, you know. And then a lot of these black folks that you see standing behind Trump are paid folks, because that's the only way they can get folks behind them like that. They pay them, you know. And so we have to, you know, be informed ourselves. We have to really stay up on the current events. We have to really stay up on what's happening so that we won't fall for the scams. We won't fall for folks that come after you. You know, I do believe, you know, in the Bible that we're in the last days, and these things are written and predicted, and nobody knows the hour or the day, you know. So you just always have to be ready. And even let me bring up another subject, you know, that can be controversial to us as black folks, is church. You know, you really have to be tried and tested, you know, where you go, who you listen to, who you associate, who you fellowship with, because these spirits are everywhere, and we cannot, you know, fall for Satan's tricks and for the things that he does. And it's just because all of this is around us, and we can't be shocked, you know, because we are going to see things get even worse before they get even better. And a lot of folks don't like to hear that either. But, you know, remember the Antichrist, you know, he's going to come through, you know, one of these organizations and make everything have the answers and make everything look perfect. But we have to really stay steadfast in our own minds and be confident in what we know, where we're getting our information from, who we surround ourselves with, what kind of information we take in. And that's how we have to do. And anybody close to us, you know, those are the folks that you want to make double sure that they're okay. Some of these other folks out in the street, some of them are gone, and you know, it's gonna only take God to bring them back. And so you can't waste a lot of time, because there are folks that are honestly trying to learn and are trying to change, and they do want information. And those are the ones that you know have to try to spend the bulk of your time with. These other folks, you got to learn. You got to have some antennas up to detect them spirits.
Yeah, well, kind of going back to slavery days when they didn't want us to learn, you know, and as we talk about education is so important, they're trying to take that away. Colonel, I want to bring you in here and ask you, you know, as we talk about being thankful, we're always thankful for the military. And one of the things that was really alarming to me, that our last conversation, the last show we had, it was brought up about, you know, Trump or anybody coming in and trying to make you know, bringing in fascism, you know, to our country. You know, they would need certain factions of the military to help them do that. You know, so, you know, tell us again about some of the things you brought up about, even though we are thankful for our military, you know, some things that could happen, you know, with people that's in the military, and how we have to be aware and make sure that they are trained correctly, not only physically but mentally.
Well, you know, and it's an important piece that I'll start with one. The right or the Confederacy has gotten away with messaging, and they call the status of being woke is a bad thing. But
Yeah.
if you look at the definition, what's the opposite of woke? It means being asleep.
Knocked out.
And they want America to be asleep. So while you're asleep, all these dark things can happen. Trump and his acolytes have already stated, and you're talking about the military, they're saying they're going to automatically from day one enact the Insurrection Act, which will take the military and if there's a protest, he can send active duty troops to quell that protest. Meaning, I can shoot them in the legs, or I can be like Kent State, murder in the National Guard in Ohio, shoot black folks down in the streets, and I'll go straight to that, black folks, because white folks they'll never do it. They can have, they can march on the Capitol and only one person to get shot. But if that was a bunch of black folks, you'd have had 1,000 people dead out in the street. So I'll say that. So they are going to do the Insurrection Act, and they will quell any dissent in this country. And I mean dissent, even just having your right to even talk about them, they can send the law forces to get you and just lock you up in perpetuity. So saying that, and I think, Ray, you talked about the Blacks for Trump. Yes, they are paid. And if you go to their website, the president, their ownership he's a convicted felon. They are paid by Trump and dark money. And it's the same dark money that is getting Joe Manchin to run as a third party because they want to split the vote. Blacks for Trump, they're being flown, wine and dine, stand up there, giving you a sign, giving you a T-shirt, and stand behind him like black folks are going to vote for him. And saying that because 92% of black folks voted against Trump. So saying that, he has already said, I am going to get those what?
Riggers.
All riggers. And even the Blacks for Trump are going to be wrapped up in that thing. So what comes, you may think you're going to get away with it, but you will, because of your color of your skin, they're still coming for you. And for those others, the Asians and the Jewish folks and Mexican Americans, he's already said, we're going to line up, round up all these Mexican Americans. There's groups that think they're not going to come for them. They're coming for you. They're already got plans in what they're going to do. They got it in place and ready to turn it on when they take office in 25. So saying that, I think somebody was talking about, what do you say to those black folks that saying for Trump? And I asked them, what has Trump done for you? Not just for you personally. He didn't give you the voters gave you, the taxpayers gave you that check. It was a rebate or whatever. That's not that. And that's pennies on a dollar. But you stand around and watch them take away your kids' right to go to school, right to vote for that $200 check you got. They increase, you have a chance for your child. And I think everybody here in this thing has a child that went to college or went to school. And if they have a loan that could have been repaid, who's stopping them from getting that repaid back? The Republican Party stopped every chance that Biden has done to get those loans repaid. Even the ones that were, when he was in office, Betsy DeVos, the Secretary of Education, only approved less than 5% of the loans that came through there. So she was turning down 95%, even if they qualified for it. They even changed rules to even get more people not to get their loans repaid. But Joe Biden has turned it around. And even though they've been stopped, he's gone back and says, okay, I can do a back door to these folks and don't have to go to the court. Meaning, say if you got you were a veteran and got disability and had a school loan, I could repay that through the VA. If you were on Social Security and disabled, I could repay your loan and wipe it out. You didn't even have to put paperwork. Your loan just showed up as paid in full. And we have to educate people. What is he doing against the masses, and who's doing it? Who is against you? I think I forgot who talked about the Clinton Biden crime bill back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Educate them. That was a problem. It was originally for getting money to pay cops in the local areas, but the states turned it around.
That's right.
Turned it around and went crazy to to target crack cocaine. Cocaine was a problem at the time, but they were going after lock up black folks because, one, if I gave you a felony, you couldn't vote.
Mm-hmm.
And those same folks, and if you can't vote and you got a felony, you can't get a state job, you can't get a federal job, you're out of the system. And then so the only thing you can do is do crime again. And then so I can lock you up forever, which, basically you would die in prison, which they don't care. But you're away, you can't vote. So that was the comment on the crime bill. But you can see now Trump has gone and given interviews on Fox, and he just had one on Telemundo, the Spanish station across his nation, the #1 Spanish broadcasting system in the nation. He had gotten to one of their board of directors, and they canceled all of the commercials that Joe Biden was going to televise, had already paid for doing, that were going to be televised during Trump's speech. They abruptly canceled all of them and gave him a softball, just like Fox, a softball interview, which he got out there and lied that he's going to be so great to the Hispanic folks, even though he's said, I'm going to line up all of y'all and deport all of y'all.
I don't understand that.
Can't understand it. But she abruptly, after it came out, she abruptly quit and went over to, and is now working for Trump in one of his organizations. And now they're scrambling saying, oh, we didn't know. But their board of directors also was down in, actually the owner was down in Mar-a-Lago having dinner with him. So you have to be woke to look at what's happening today.
I really don't understand the Hispanic support of Trump. I really can't, like I keep saying, I just can't wrap certain things around my head when he came down the escalators talking about Hispanic people. Now, he did say Mexicans, but come on, you got, if you speak in the language, he's talking about you too.
Yeah,
I can't understand. I don't understand how they are so willing to support him when he's going to the border this week to say, I don't want more of you here. I don't understand that. I don't understand our people. I don't understand Asians. And I want to throw this out about the religious part of it. I sent James a copy of what I've been doing locally against our local religious community. Now, I don't know if they have ever done this in Portrait or not, but I try to get local leaders, religious leaders, to get together to have a press conference to denounce Trump denounce and condemn Trump by what is in the Bible. And I've been trying now for 4 solid years to get them to do a press conference. And I know all the ministers in this area. I mean, I know all the top players. I've been to their faces with it. In the 4 years, I still have not been able to get 10 ministers to sit at a press table to denounce Trump for all of the things that he have done. So I want to leave you guys with this, to talk about, because I have to leave at 7:30. But I want to throw that out. Have y'all tried in Portsmouth to try to get the religious people there? Because I think if we can get the church to really focus, for they can get into the minds of some of these people, because they have the masses every Sunday, sometimes twice a week. I can't believe that we can't get a counter message from that the evangelicals have done very well, by the way. Why can't we get a counter message in the regular, as I call the sane religious group, to come out and condemn this man for all his actions and conduct? Like I said, I've been trying for 4 years locally, haven't been able to get 10 to sit at a table to come out with a agreed upon message that can go to the people. That's number one. And the other part is, why are these other races of people who also support Trump? I just can't wrap my head around those two things. But the main thing is, have y'all ever had anywhere in Portsmouth, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, any of those places where ministers have sat at a table and denounced and condemned Trump?
Well, I can say this: in the city of Portsmouth, there is a group of ministers that are part of the Martin Luther King Steering Committee and the Baptist Ministers Association, something like that. But some of the ministers in church in Portsmouth, I believe they have denounced him if you go around and listen to him. So that part, these are black ministers.
In a national press conference, designed to be a national press conference.
Right. Well, that's something that they can do too. But as we and thanks for that, we hopefully some of them are watching it and take that under consideration. But as we wind down, of course, we started out thankful and grateful and blessed, and it's always some information that really, along with that, has to get out there. And Portsmouth Coffee Talk, our shows, whatever we talk about, we try to relay some information or relay some opinions of our hosts, which are fact-based, and get that in there. But before we end, I want to play just a little something else to get us back to, where we going and the Thanksgiving season coming up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for every moment that led to this day. Thank you for the hard times. They made me appreciate the good times. Thank you for the lessons. They were needed for my development. Thank you for my eyes that get to witness the miracles of today and tomorrow. Thank you for everything I take for granted. Thank you for all of my blessings. Thank you for my drive. Thank you for my spirit. Thank you for my strength. Thank you for giving me the courage to fight through the hard times. Thank you for the people in my life, those I love and those I learn from. Thank you for it all. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, even all that we were talking about, we all have something to be thankful for.
Yes, we do.
And even if it's thankful for the strength that we have to carry on through all of this and what we do here, and all of us are involved in some kind of way trying to walk the talk that we stay up here every day, every 2 weeks, every twice a week, and involved in something, trying to educate, try to inform, and make sure people get out there and do the right thing. So as we wind down, we're gonna go around the table and people can give their last comments as we lead into our Thanksgiving season. Leah, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, let me just say I'm thankful for each of you because each of you have had a major impact on my life. And I thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. I'm just so grateful for so many things and so blessed during this season. And I'm just thankful to God for preserving me, taking care of me, and getting me to where I am today. So I'm thankful for each of you guys. Thank you so very much.
I'll go next. Thank you for, Leah, what you said, and I'll echo that. but I am thankful for the life that I have led in my past. And I like to tell people I have more time behind me than I have in front of me.
That's right.
And I am thankful for each day that I have in front of me that I get to enjoy my loved ones and what's going to come in our history. I'm just thankful that I got another day. And I always say, you know, I'm just glad to see another day. Yes, I am. And I'm thankful for that. And so
Yes,
I saw what's today. Today is the 20th. And I woke up this morning, and that is a good day.
Well, I'll go next. I want to say I'm thankful. I was up so early. I was hooked up with James at 6 o'clock. So I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for being able to move around like I can move around still. I also want to thank Mr. Overton very much for including me in this delightful and enlightening panel. And I'd like to ask each one of you to do one thing for Thanksgiving when you're around your family and friends. If you could do one thing, especially if you have young people in that 16 to 18 group, if you can, because I know you already have done it, but encourage more of your family to do it. Ask them to take them out in the backyard or on a porch or something and have a conversation like we're having right now, you know, about what is going on. Try to find out where their head is at. I make a point of doing that every time I get there on Thanksgiving or Christmas and stuff. And I'm gonna leave y'all with one quick story. When Trump was elected the first time, I found out that one of my relatives that voted for him, we was at Thanksgiving in Suffolk. And my family tell you I did this. I said, he not sitting with the rest of us. I put his stuff in the food and everything in the garage. And I put a sign saying, Trump people vote, eat here. He never got in the house when I was there. So that's how tough I am on people. But
I assume he didn't vote for Trump the second time.
yeah, be thankful for your family. But really, we need to get in our young people's heads. We need to know what's going on. I'm gonna have to log out. Thank you. I enjoyed seeing all of you. When I come in Portsmouth the next time, I wish I can get a chance to meet you. So thank you again. And all of y'all have a nice and blessed day. Okay?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
you
you.
too, Lewis. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Class of
Bye-bye.
72.
Bye.
Class of
Bye.
72. All right.
Yeah.
Ray?
Okay, you know, you'll hear me say it over and over again. It's all about God's grace, and that's the sustainer, that's the force that drives and motivate me, even when folks talking behind your back and they criticize or they think they're talking behind your back, because when you know so many people that you know, they don't even know that you even communicate, or some of those folks may be in your family and they tend to, freely talk. But even when you know what you know, you have to have the spirit in you that loves people and that understands the motivating factors of why people do what they do. And when you can be patient and try to understand what motivates folks, it kind of helps you deal with the negative forces that you have before you that comes towards you. And it's nothing but God's grace that I'm thankful for throughout my life at a very early age. Now, I'm not holier than thou, and I'm not a perfect person by any means, but I just struggle to try to do what I was taught coming up, and how to respect folks and how to treat folks as you want to be treated. And that's just basics that you get, when you can come up, the way I've come up. And I've appreciated too the friendships and relationships of, James and Leah. I haven't known Colonel, like I've known you two, James and Leah, but I appreciate all of the times, that we've had and shared, and James and I probably talk more than any of the group here, and just to see his life and to see how
Amen.
what he's
Amen.
come
God has
through
truly
and
blessed
what he's
him.
dealt with,
Mm.
it has inspired me to either, certain things we can't control, but what we can do is do our best with what we have. And I think God knows our hearts, regardless of what people say and what people think they know. And you just can't worry about a lot of things like that. I tend not to worry about it because things that are much, much closer to me that I'm forced to worry about. And so I have to deal with it. So all of those other things, I learned how to let them go and just, let folks know that who's responsible for me, and that's God, not you.
Yeah. I just like to thank God for giving me that second chance, and everybody up here on this screen right now traveled that journey with me. Every one of you all, those hospital visits, and every one of you were part of that, and I appreciate it. I thank you for your friendship and your dedication to seeing me through that whole ordeal. It was nothing better than being in that hospital and looking up and seeing your face walk through that door and sit down and spend time and joke and everything like that. I appreciate, of course, my wife, Renee. She went through it, and then people often forget about that person that's not in the hospital and what they'll be going through as well. And then, as soon as I was well enough, she went through her ordeal, and I think she was kind of holding out, and it might not have been as bad if she had gone in earlier, but she was more concerned about me at the time. And I appreciate my daughter and my granddaughter, Jamie and Zuri, having them to carry on. You always look for that generation to carry on because, like the Colonel said, more days behind me than before me. And you want to know that you created a path for them to continue walking in. And I appreciate Boston Coffee Talk, this opportunity for us to come on and the people that watch. And it's nothing better no better feeling than to be somewhere at the play the other night or the grocery store and somebody recognize you or come up and say, I watched Boston Coffee Talk. And more people are watching than the numbers might show.
Yes.
So you really appreciate that. So it gives you a feeling knowing that you're doing something. You're doing something. And we've done a lot over the years, and this is my way now of continuing the service. Can't get out there like I used to, but things happen for a reason. So this is the avenue that I take now to get the message out, and especially now with bringing all these different people in. In 2024, we hope to continue that message as strong as we can to make sure we can bring as many people as we can in, like we were talking today, to see the light, to even just reconsider or just take time out and look at, look at what you're doing. Make sure you just weigh the things out before you just blindly walk into something that's not going to be beneficial to you in the long run. So, and I thank you for all of you, the hosts and our guest hosts. Ray, appreciate you, and I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. And we'll be back next Monday. And it's funny we have Ray up here since the Cowboys are playing the Commanders, so that'll be for bragging rights.
I know, but I think watching the game yesterday. I can't do too much talking, but us, we're gonna talk anyway because we can still beat y'all. If we beat y'all, it doesn't matter about anything else.
Not about any other games, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we feel the same way because they saying we don't beat anybody with winning records. What's y'all record?
Oh gosh, we like 2-6 or something like that.
So they say most teams we beat teams with losing records.
I mean 4. I'm sorry, 4. We won 4 games. 4 games. I'm thinking about the Giants.
But y'all do play us a little harder, though. Anyway,
we do, and it's anybody's game, And I know that in my family, we're going to be with a pretty big gathering. We are always outnumbered by the Cowboy fans. I mean, it's like 10-5 sometimes, or even more. It seems like, I don't know, that Cowboy disease is just permeates throughout, society and folks everywhere you go. It's just horrible.
It's the same way with us, I think, too, Colonel. It's mostly Cowboys, or the rest don't care.
Yeah.
You might have two or three commanders, and the rest of them don't care. They just there for Thanksgiving.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So
Yeah, Commanders ain't going nowhere until they fire their coach. They should have fired their coach at halftime, but that's the story.
yeah. Well, I am also on that next Sunday. I'm going to see my other team, the Lakers, play the Sixers in Philadelphia.
All
So
right.
and that's always a treat. When they come, I try to get up that way. That's the closest I can get to them, because I, don't want to go to LA, right now, but I still may go out that way just to see the Las Vegas stadium. Like I went to the Dallas. I did go to see Dallas Stadium. It's worth the trip just to see the marvels, the architecture, and what they do.
Yes.
Regardless of who's playing or whatever. So, but it's all in fun, and it's all in for the good. And I don't take it too hard. Whether winning or losing, but I know we're gonna at least beat y'all on Thursday.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right.
you,
Okay.
you said all that to get that in, huh? But
Perfect.
I want to give a shout out to Virginia Union University football team, who won the CIAA championship. Excuse me. But they lost in that first round. They put up a good fight. But anyway, they are the CIAA champs, and they just lost 2 games all year. So just a shout out to the Virginia Union football team. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Leah, were you saying something? I'm sorry. Before we got into the football, once we started.
No, let y'all have your
that,
moment. Let you have your moment.
Yeah, it could be Christmas. We still talking football, so
Yes,
it doesn't matter.
Yes, indeed.
Well, anyway, thanks again, everybody. We appreciate you. I think, Leah, you're dealing with the cold like I am.
Yeah,
so.
I'm kind of stuffy this morning. I'm real stuffy this morning.
Anyway,
some of us early morning.
Fast.
Yep.
Some of us early morning.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great day.
All right.
Everybody be
Y'all
blessed.
too.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.